Hollywood's golden age wasn't just glitter and gold. The original it girl, whose life unraveled amid public ridicule, a star silenced for being too intelligent, too independent, that Hollywood tried to extinguish. The girl who was too beautiful, and her rapid rise, scandals, and mysterious demise. These are the stories of forgotten golden age Hollywood stars. Barbara LaMarr wasn't just a star, she was a wildfire. By 15, she'd already been arrested for performing a suggestive dance in a San Francisco nightclub. By 18, she was writing scripts for silent films under a male pseudonym because studios refused to hire female writers. But when a director spotted her at a party, her life exploded. "You're too stunning to stay behind the typewriter," he told her. Overnight, she became the girl who was too beautiful, a nickname that sealed her fate. Her beauty was weaponized. Studios cast her as seductresses and homewreckers, fueling rumors that mirrored her roles. Tabloids claimed she slept with Charlie Chaplin, stole Rudolph Valentino from his wife, and hosted parties where guests swam in bathtubs filled with champagne. But few knew the truth. Barbara was secretly battling the studio system. She demanded creative control, rewrote her lines to make her characters smarter, and even fought for higher pay. A scandalous move in the 1920s. Then came the real controversy. In 1921, she was arrested alongside actress Zazu Pitts for reckless behavior after they drove through Hollywood in nothing but fur coats. The studio spun it as a publicity stunt, but Barbara's diary later revealed the dark side. "They wanted me to play the villainess in life and on screen until I couldn't tell the difference anymore." Her downward spiral began when MGM forced her to film The Prisoner of Zenda while severely ill. Studio doctors fed her a cocktail of tonics to keep her upright, later revealed to be morphine and amphetamines. By 1925, she weighed 80 pounds. Her skin yellowed from kidney failure. Yet MGM kept scheduling films, leaking stories that she was too unstable to work. When she collapsed on set for the last time, the headline read, "Beauty fades fast." She died days later, but the most chilling detail? Her only child, Marvin, was adopted by her friend Zazu Pitts and never told his mother's true identity until he turned 21. Rumor has it Barbara's final letter warned him, "Hollywood will devour you too if you let them." Her films were locked in vaults, her diaries lost, and her name scrubbed from studio histories. But in 2023, a TikTok deep dive went viral claiming Barbara's ghost haunts the old MGM lot, whispering lines from the scripts she never got to write. Clara Bow wasn't just Hollywood's first it girl. She was its first casualty of cancel culture. Born in a Brooklyn tenement so cramped she slept in a dresser drawer, Clara escaped her abusive, mentally ill mother by sneaking into movie theaters. At 16, she won a magazine contest titled Fame and Fortune, but judges nearly disqualified her for looking too common. That common face soon made her the highest-paid star in America, and the most hunted. Her 1927 film, it didn't just define sex appeal, it weaponized it. Studio publicists spun wild tales about her hypnotic effect on men, claiming she received 45,000 fan letters a month. But off-screen, Clara was nothing like her characters. Shy and insecure, she stuttered during interviews, which reporters mocked as Brooklyn gibberish. The same studios that profited from her fiery image leaked stories painting her as a harlot. One headline screamed, "Clara Bow dated 78 men in 3 months." The truth, she'd briefly talked to 78 fans at a charity event. Then came the Betty Boyd scandal. In 1931, Clara's former secretary sued her for unpaid wages, but the trial turned into a public crucifixion. Betty accused Clara of throwing cocaine-fueled orgies, seducing gangsters, and even owning a sex phone to chat with fans. The press ate it up, despite zero evidence. What nobody revealed? Betty was secretly paid $25,000 by a rival studio to destroy Clara. During the trial, Clara sobbed on the stand. "I'm just a girl from Brooklyn. Why does everyone want to tear me apart?" She won the case, but her reputation didn't. The final blow came from technology. When talkies arrived, Paramount forced Clara to take speech lessons to erase her accent. But audiences missed her raw energy. A studio memo later surfaced calling her too real for sound. Then in 1931, a conman named Maxwell the Snake Cohen blackmailed her with fake nude photos. When Clara refused to pay, he leaked them to tabloids. The studio didn't defend her. They dropped her, calling her box office poison. At 26, she fled Hollywood in a pickup truck, allegedly muttering, "I'm free, I'm finally free." But freedom came at a cost. Clara checked into a Nevada psychiatric clinic under a fake name, where doctors diagnosed her with severe anxiety and nervous exhaustion. Years later, she confessed to a friend, "They called me the It Girl, but I never understood what it was. I think it was just whatever they needed me to be." Her post-Hollywood life was a ghost story. She married cowboy actor Rex Bell and moved to a Nevada ranch where she battled depression and paranoia. Locals called her the Phantom of the Desert because she'd hide in closets during thunderstorms. In 1949, she suffered a mental breakdown so severe her sons didn't recognize her. Yet in rare interviews, she insisted, "I don't regret a thing. Hollywood gave me everything except peace." There was the twist even fans don't know. In 2023, Clara's granddaughter revealed a bombshell. Hidden in the walls of Clara's ranch were 32 reels of home movies. The footage shows Clara laughing, riding horses, and directing her kids in backyard plays, a stark contrast to her wild child myth. "She just wanted to be normal," her granddaughter said. Meanwhile, modern psychologists reanalyzed her case and believe she suffered from undiagnosed PTSD and bipolar disorder, conditions Hollywood exploited as drama. Imagine a woman arriving in Hollywood with a blaze of glory, a comet streaking across the cinematic sky. That was Francis Farmer. It wasn't just her breathtaking beauty, though she possessed that in spades, a classic, luminous look that photographers adored. It was something more profound, a raw, undeniable talent that crackled with intelligence and a captivating intensity. From the moment she stepped onto the stage and screen, critics raved. They saw in her a depth and authenticity rarely found in the manufactured glamour of Hollywood in the late 1930s. She was hailed as the next great dramatic actress, poised to conquer the industry. But Francis? She was a spirit too untamed for the gilded cage of Hollywood. Beneath the surface beauty and the burgeoning fame was a fiercely independent mind, a woman deeply uncomfortable with the artificiality and control demanded by the studio system. While the studios envisioned a pliable starlet, perfectly coiffed and ever compliant, Francis was anything but. She bristled at the publicity machine, famously declaring her disdain for Hollywood's manufactured image. She longed for artistic integrity, for roles that challenged her, not just showcased her looks. This inherent conflict, this fundamental mismatch between Francis's soul and Hollywood's expectations, set her on a collision course. Her outspoken nature and unconventional views, considered radical for the time, began to raise eyebrows. She questioned the studio's control over her life, resisted promotional events she deemed frivolous, and dared to voice opinions that didn't align with the carefully crafted studio narrative. Whispers started circulating, hushed tones about her difficult nature, her uncooperative spirit. Then came the darker shadows, the whispers that morphed into louder concerns about her stability. Her fiercely independent behavior and intellectual questioning were increasingly misconstrued. What followed is a truly heartbreaking chapter. Under immense pressure and facing what some described as periods of emotional distress, Francis became entangled in a system that seemed ill-equipped, perhaps even eager, to silence voices that didn't conform. She was placed in institutions, sanatoriums they were often called, for what was described as treatment. But accounts from that time, and later revelations, paint a deeply disturbing picture. Years were lost within those walls, years marked by controversial procedures and a profound sense of isolation. The exact details remain murky, shrouded in conflicting reports and the closed doors of institutions of that era. But the essence is tragically clear. A bright, fiercely talented woman found herself caught in a system that seemed to prioritize conformity over compassion, control over care. Was it a genuine attempt to help a troubled soul? Or was it a brutal way to silence a spirit too bright, too challenging for the Hollywood machine? Francis Farmer's story serves as a chilling exposé of Hollywood's underbelly, a place where dreams could be manufactured and just as easily, tragically extinguished. Her life, though marked by immense talent and early promise, became a somber cautionary tale. And yet, her story, as heart-wrenching as it is still just one thread in the vast tapestry of forgotten Hollywood stories. So, what does this all mean when we look back at the golden age's forgotten stars? It's a complex picture, isn't it? We see immense talent sidelined by tragedy, by scandal, by industry limitations, and sometimes by the simple, shifting sands of time and taste. Perhaps their fading from the spotlight is a kind of tragedy, but perhaps it's also an invitation for us to look a little deeper, to rediscover these forgotten talents, and appreciate the full spectrum of brilliance that made the golden age so golden.